Welcome to my apiary. So I spent a lot of today gathering things up and putting in the truck. There's 600. There's actually 500 pounds of honey in there to go to the packer, and of course these are the empty jars to pack said honey in. And then I have some honey that I'm taking for orders for customers, and some wax that I'm selling to a customer. And so it surprisingly takes up a lot of time to source everything out around the yard and get it in the truck and pack it and everything. So that's done, which is great. The little half ton has a good load now. It's not nearly capacity, but it certainly knows it there. It rides really nice with a load like this. And I just pulled these boxes up so you kind of see the pails, and I just pack everything nice and snug, and the tonneau cover goes right down over everything. I love this tonneau cover. The things I love about it are, not least of which are that it's about the cheapest one, or one of the cheapest ones you can buy. It's a good quality unit. This is the third one I've owned. Different trucks. It's not that I've replaced it. This one's actually got a few years on it. It's a Truck Sport, TRUX PORT, I think is how they spell that. You can't really see it here. Yeah, Truck Sport. And the model, they call that a Truxedo. It's kind of funny, but anyway, I love the roll-up design. It's got the Velcro closers on the side, and you have to make sure you close that. If the wind gets that, then you'll ruin everything. And I see a lot of them that won't stay closed, and that's usually because they've been left open and the wind bashes the crap out of them. Now, I decided to not go. You can get a hard tonneau that kind of flips up like this, and I wasn't interested in that because that's all you get, right? You lift it up, and it might go that high, and then it's because I don't know. Sometimes I'm going to be hauling something that's taller. I didn't want the folding one, mostly because it's more expensive and it doesn't buy me anything. And when it's folded up, it sits here at the cab, kind of vertical. Actually, when I bought this truck years ago, it had a retractable tonneau cover, and that was the most ridiculous and horrible thing I'd ever seen. Partly because it was in poor repair and it didn't work right, but it had a great huge box in the front where the tonneau cover would roll up. So you lost, it's not a very long box to begin with, and then you lost 18 inches at the head because of this roll-up thing. So I took that out, threw it in the garbage, and bought this Truxedo. And you wonder how robust this can be. You gotta watch if you're putting things in there and there's something that's sharp or it gets abrasion on the bottom. You want to avoid that, of course. But the wind does this the whole time you're driving, and it stands up just fine. It stands up well even in the cold weather. And the only thing that the cold weather has ever done to it, I'll bring you over here to show you. Is you can see the piping on the edge is cracked, right? So it's just it's pretty well just cosmetic though. So when you roll it up in the cold weather, the piping will crack, and it cracks more at the back because the roll is smaller at the back, and as you roll up, and a lot of times you'll roll it this far or something. So that's the only thing that the cold weather has ever done to it. While I'm talking about things that I love that I've done to my truck, is this. This is called a bed rug, and Bed Rug is a company, and this is one of the products that they have. I can't show you the whole thing because I've got the truck loaded, but basically it's very much like a carpet, but it's not a carpet. I think it's a nylon product, and it's chemical resistant, and it's very, very, very robust. You can pressure wash that. I don't think I ever have, but I try to keep it clean. You can vacuum it if that's what you need to do. Pressure wash it. There's gunk in the middle here. It's nice because the tailgate and the bed part is one piece, so you don't get that dust coming up through there. And not only that, but the bed part, how a truck bed is got those ribs in it. Well, they've made that so that the foam backing on the bed rug has corresponding and opposite ribs. So when you get in that bed, when it's empty, you with your knees, you're kneeling on it or walking on it, it's absolutely 100% flat. So what you feel on the top of the bed rug is absolutely flat. And so that goes to the front and up the front and up the sides all the way up to there. They're very easy to install. They're not cheap. They're $500 or something. But I love those. That's the second one I've owned too. I put one on my red truck. I put the same bed rug and the same tonneau on the red truck I had a while ago. Talking about my little truck there, I've had a difficult time deciding what's going to happen with the little truck. It's a 24-year-old truck, going to be 25 years old pretty soon. And it's in great shape. Mechanically, it's in really good shape. For what it is, the platform, the layout, I could not want for anything else. Does exactly what I need to do. It's small enough to rip around the city easily. It's robust enough to haul a pretty serious load. The engine in it is rather large for what I need. It's a 360 cubic inch engine, so it's it's a little hungry on fuel, more than I really need and would like. Fuels get so expensive. I spent the last number of months trying to decide what's going to happen with this truck. 205,000 kilometers or so right now on the truck. So not lots and lots, but it's getting there. And the biggest problem is the body is very badly rusted, and I have to make a decision what's going to happen. So here's kind of what I worked out. I sought out a replacement vehicle to do exactly what I need to do, and basically it's those two things. Something that's not super big, like my big truck. I don't know if you can see over here. No, you can't. My big truck, that's like driving a school bus around the city, so it's not that convenient, whereas this really is. And also the big 1-ton, just in maintenance and repairs, it's a really reliable truck and all that kind of stuff, but the bigger you get, the more it costs you per mile in maintenance and repairs. So the more I drive the big truck, the more it needs, whereas the little truck, a little easier to fix, a little cheaper to fix, brakes and suspension and steering and all, the normal wear items. So I looked around at all the different vehicles that could not replace this truck specifically. It's a pretty rare truck though. 4-wheel drive, standard cab, short bed, pickup. It's not a lot of those around. So what I came up with, and you can suggest anything you want, and please do so in the comments, but it's probably not going to change a thing, because what I came up with was there's a Ford Transit Connect. And yeah, I'm a Dodge guy, I'm a Ram guy, but I'm not stupid about it. I'll drive what we have, a Hyundai car, we love it, all kind of stuff. But the Ford Transit Connect is not a high cost vehicle. It's extremely popular. The problem is you can't buy one. They're so popular. Nobody sells them, and the dealers can't even get them. It's very fuel efficient. Very fuel efficient. It'll burn half as much fuel as this truck does. Okay. It would give me an enclosed cargo area for my product, which is good and bad because in the winter, that's one advantage to winter here is I put my product in the back of the truck, it freezes solid, and it's good. It doesn't. The creamed honey doesn't get too hot, and the liquid honey stays frozen and it doesn't granulate. So that works for me. In the summer, I have a problem because the creamed honey gets too hot. I'm always put the creamed honey in the truck, take the creamed honey out of the truck, which, a Connect would be the same thing because if it's sitting here in the yard, it's going to get hot inside. But on route, I can air condition that little van. And look it up. If you don't know what a Connect is, look it up. They're not huge, but they're not too tiny. It's kind of like a minivan, but it's more of a fleet vehicle. I looked at those. I looked at the prices, and the prices are not crazy. I'd like to get something new. You get a warranty, you get that extra life before it starts to turn into a rust bucket. And, I'm looking 30, I don't know, 35,000, 40,000. So you look at the payments on something like that, and here's the financial decision. Payments on that are going to cost me $6,000 to $7,000 a year. And again, I know there's a lot of people that are going to argue about, wow, it doesn't cost that much. And yeah, I'm 57 years old. I've bought lots of vehicles and I know what financing is and I know what payments are. So it's going to cost me $6,000 to $7,000 a year in payments. Fortunately, it's a new vehicle, so I probably don't have a lot of out-of-pocket repairs. It's got new tires, so I'm not going to put tires. I have to put tires on this thing soon. It's not a rust bucket. It doesn't have components that are all wore out. It's new, so you're going to have problems like new cars have, which is kind of stupid these days, but that's what happens. So that means I have $6,000 to $7,000 worth of maintenance repairs budget for this vehicle as compared to Connect. I don't want to put that much into this thing, but that's what that means. The fuel savings is going to save me $1,500 a year. And half of that fuel savings is going to be negated because the Connect has a higher insurance rate on it than this pickup truck. So I'm going to be really generous and say the Connect is going to save me $1,000 a year between fuel and insurance, between those two. So let's say $6,000. Let's say $5,000. The Connect is going to cost me. That's a lot of fix-up. Now you can blow $5,000, right? I'm looking at probably $1,500 worth of tires because truck tires are heavy duty, they're bigger and all kinds of stuff, and winter time I insist on having good tires too. So there's that. So there's $1,500 worth of tires. I just put a window regulator in it. I need to do a second one. Those cost me like $60 to $75 a piece. That's all the cost because I just sit there and do it myself, which is a pain because I don't really have time, but it's what I do, so I do it. I have to do a little bit of body work to this in order to make it, kind of what they would call roadworthy. It's roadworthy, but what they call a certified safety vehicle. If it were to pass the safety, I have to do a little bit of body work, rocker panels specifically. So, that's also a DIY thing. I'm not paying a body man to do that. So it's like buying the panels is going to cost me $300. Buddy and I are going to weld them in. I've done lots of that kind of stuff. So is he. He's just better at it than I am. There's some probably could stand a set of shocks. Things always need brakes, but any vehicle will. You don't even have to count brakes because if I bought a Connect, it would need brakes too. So that kind of stuff is just wear items. That's like putting gas in it. So I came to the realization that even though every trip in this truck hurts at the pump, it doesn't hurt every 2 weeks when I make car payments, because then I'm not making a car payment on it, right? It hurts every few weeks or a couple of months when I have to put a few $100 or worse parts in it. So that's where you pay. You either, make payments, or you spend your money at the bank or the parts store. One or the other. That's kind of the way it goes. I've been living this my whole driving career. And that's what you do. You either make payments to the bank or you make payments to the parts store. And, I'm not saying one's better than the other, because payments to the bank is nice because you know what that monthly payment is. And instead of laying under your vehicle in the middle of winter trying to fix something, you're sitting on the couch watching TV with your wife, right? So there's a lot to be said for that. Kind of the big kicker is I don't wish to change. I don't wish, when I'm driving this truck, there is not a vehicle in the world I would rather be driving. I think I would probably enjoy that Connect, but it's a very different vehicle. But I don't, that's not my motivation to change vehicles. I don't long for a new vehicle just because it has fancy features and it's a new vehicle. And I don't long for something that's different. This is exactly the vehicle I want. This little truck does everything I could ask of it. Everything I want to do. It'll tow trailers. It'll haul loads. It'll look at these. You wonder what these are. These are brackets right here. Okay. So I've got a tow bar. I can click my tow bar onto that and hook it to the back of my 1-ton and down the road if I ever need to. I really don't do that. That's not why I put them on there. We have a Class A motorhome. I put the tow bar on there to tow the truck behind the Class A motorhome, which worked great. So the tow bar brackets are on the truck. So, that's a feature, right? So anyway, mechanically it's in good shape. And besides, I was going to say, if the engine blew up in this truck, which it's a Mopar 360, who are we kidding? It's not going to blow up. You very rarely see those things fail. If it did, I have 3 in my backyard that I could put in there. Transmissions too. That's not the problem. Even if I had to buy one, right? Don't forget, I have $5,000 a year of fix-up. So if I'm coming in under $5,000 a year fix-ups, saving money, right? If I'm coming at 5,000 or maybe a little more than 5,000, this maybe costs me a little bit more, but not a ton, and I still have the vehicle I want to drive. This is the vehicle I want. I love this little truck, and it does everything I ask it to do. So that was my whole thought process over the past few months of what do I do about my aging truck? And that's the conclusion. Keep it. I heard years ago economic advisors, like people who would advise you on your household budget, for example, and there's a rule that they have. And the rule is the cheapest vehicle you can drive is the one that you own. Period. No yabbits. No yabbit, it burns more gas. No, and yeah, the price of gas is getting such that margin is starting to change, starting to get much worse, but it's not there yet. Obviously, I burn twice as much gas, and part of that is because I was surprised how little I drive. I do logbooks for my business deductions on my truck, and I was shocked how little I thought I was driving 20 or 30,000 kilometers a year. I don't know why I thought that, but because it seems like I'm always going somewhere. I'm not. So the savings in gas is like $1,500 a year. It's not enough. It's not enough. So stay where I'm at. And I'm really happy about it because I get to keep the truck that I love driving. That's what I'm happy about. I don't have to take a chance on, oh, would I like a Connect? Would I enjoy that? I don't know. I think I would. I think I would, and I know it would be a very different vehicle, but I think I would like it. I think I would like that vehicle for what it is. I've talked to people who drive them. They just love them. Like I love this little truck. So that's the big long story about the truck and what's going to happen. So, there might be a few videos on fixing this or that on my truck if you're interested. Some people I think are. I replaced that window regulator a couple days ago. I didn't video that, but I have to do a second one. So I'll video that and show you what I'm doing and why. It's kind of ridiculous why, but it's one of those modular things where you have a part, you have a window regulator, it has the arms and the gears and stuff, and there's two little nylon wheels. Actually, there's three little nylon wheels in there, and they age and they crack and they fall off, and then it doesn't work anymore. The window falls off the regulator and it goes bang down the bottom of the door. You can't buy those wheels. You have to buy the regulator. So the wheels would, if you could buy the wheels, they'd cost you $5. But no, I'm $65 regulator. Instead, what are you going to do? You fix it. That's all. Even $65. Keep my truck on the road. Keep my windows. I've been putting this off too. It broke quite a while ago, and I got it so the windows stay up, but I had to unhook them because if you hit the button to lower the window just falls in the bottom of the door, and then you have to take the door apart to lift the window up. So I unhooked the window switches, and I can't go with the drive-through. I miss A&W drive-through, and so now I fixed the driver's windows, so now I can go to A&W drive-through again, and I'm stoked about that. Tomorrow I go to the city, I'm going to A&W drive-through, and I'm going to use my window. And I'm probably going to put it up and down a few times just because I can. So anyway, that's another thing that I want to mention about that kind of thing. When you do something like that, you take that door apart, you get that regulator out, and you put the power motor on the new regulator, you get it all back in, and it goes up and down like nobody's business, like it's brand new. That just does something for you inside. It just makes you feel so good. I don't have to throw this truck in the garbage. Like, what's the environmental impact? If you want to look at it that way, what's the environmental impact of throwing this truck in the garbage? Right? It's a huge impact to recycle the whole thing if they're going to do that, or whatever happens to it after I decide I'm done with it. Huge impact regardless of what you're going to do. Keep it going. That, I think, is the most environmentally responsible thing, because I don't need to have a factory build me a new one, which is a giant impact, and I don't have to have the system absorb the thing that I've thrown away. I can replace it. Yeah, I have to buy some parts, and the parts that I do, I take the old parts off. Those are recyclable. I can put those in the metal recycling. So I believe that there is a lot to be said environmentally for keeping your vehicle going. And trucks are different than cars because of the way they're made. It's a full body on frame system, whereas a car is a unibody system, or a unit body system they call it. And when you start to have rust issues on a unit body system, it's disposable. There's not a lot you can do about that. You pretty well have to rebuild the entire car or something. It's so prohibitively complex and expensive that you throw it away. Trucks are different. You can put fenders and hoods and cabs and boxes, and you can put everything on this truck. About the only thing that's kind of the deal killer for a truck is, I believe, is the frame. I mean, that's pretty complicated. If you were to say that frame is rusted out, I want to replace that frame, you could probably do it. Well, I know you could do it. I've kind of done stuff that's not quite that involved, but I've done that kind of stuff. It's a big job, and the other thing is find a frame for that. Find a frame for the standard cab short bed 4x4, 1998. That's a pretty rare truck. You're not going to find that frame anywhere, right? You're not just going to find it just anywhere. It's going to be tough to find. So I think a rotted frame would likely be one of the things that kills that truck. So here's the plan. I'm going to take my truck to my mechanic whom I trust. And he's a private mechanic. He's not a dealership. My God, don't go to a dealership. Dealerships are, yeah, don't go to dealership. Take it to my mechanic. I'm going to say, put that thing up on hoist. Kind of put your glasses on like you're doing a safety inspection, and look at that frame and all of that system, and tell me if you see it progressing toward non-serviceability. Because if that's okay, then I'm golden, because I can do anything else. For that $5,000, I can do anything else. Because, and that's because I'm not just saying, my truck needs an engine, take it to my mechanic and then have him put a new engine in it and bring it home and give me a bill for $10,000. No, my truck needs a new engine. I'm going to go to the insurance company, get a truck that's been rolled, buy it, bring it home, pull the engine out of it, pull the bad engine out of my green truck and put it in, and that kind of thing I've done before. And it's again, it's a kind of a big job, but it's not that bad. That's what I mean. So you're getting that engine for $1,000 or $1,500 or something like that, and a whole whack of your time. But your time doesn't come out of that $5,000. So that's the really long explanation and a long way of saying I'm keeping my truck. Thanks for listening to that.